Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. This is my latest fiddle. It's a 5-string and it's number 213, and her name is Aathira, and she was named after a very famous violin player in India, Aathira Krishnan, and she is known as the queen of Indian classical violin music. And check her out on YouTube, and Aathira Krishnan with a K. She an amazing player. She plays traditional classical Indian violin music, and this fiddle is going to India. And I just strung her up after a rub down, and I need to rub it one more time to get it not so glossy. I like a violin that's kind of semi-glossy. And I used a glazing method to finish this violin with oil pigments, burnt umber and 2 other colors, with a bright yellow ground. So under the lights, it'll look like it's glowing. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I have a 1-piece back with leaf carvings on the corners. And it's kind of antique, but not overly antique, just real subtle touches. And flamed ribs to match the back and the neck. Nicely flamed maple all around. And top is Engelmann spruce. And it's also antiqued a little bit with a golden base to it. I have a Baggs pickup bridge. I have not yet installed the carpenter jack, so that's what these wires are here. I'll be connecting the carpenter jack eventually. Indian players do not use chin rests, so I'm not going to put a chin rest on there unless Aathira wants to have one. And I made the scroll, the peg box, longer, as you could see. It still fits in a violin case, most cases, but I made the peg box longer to accommodate the 5 strings. A lot of times with 5-string violins, the peg box is a standard violin peg box, and the 5 strings are really cramped in there and close together, and sometimes this well, I use it as for the C string. This upper peg sometimes gets really close to the inside of the scroll, and sometimes gets caught up in there, but I accommodated a nice long and wider peg box and scroll to accommodate the 5 strings, so they're not all crunched in there, so there's plenty of room for them. And it makes it easier to tune too, because with a standard peg box, if you're making a 5-string violin, the tuning pegs are so close to each other that you bump into it as you're trying to tune it. So that's what's different. This is standard size. All the dimensions are exactly what a full-size violin is, except the peg box is bigger. It's probably more like a viola peg box, but the scale length is 327, maybe 328 millimeters, standard violin. The string distance at the upper nut is about 5 millimeters, and I made the width of the fingerboard at the nut 25 millimeters, so there's plenty of room on the side of the E and the side of the C, so it doesn't fall off the fingerboard as it's being played, but not so wide where it's hard to play. Sorry, I have dye all over my finger. This is the color that actually I used as the ground. I used that just a few minutes ago to finish the neck. So what you see on my hands is the color of the dye. I have it strung up right now with helicore, D'Addario helicore strings, but Aathira is going to restring it with special strings because the tuning is E or D, something like that. But it's a whole different tuning because the scales played in Indian music is very different than Western American or Western scales, so it accommodates different strings. So anyway, this is just starting strings. She sounds really good with the D'Addario heavy helichords, and hopefully she'll sound good with the alternate strings too. Let's see if I can show you the label that's in there with Aathira's name. I don't know if it shows it. It has my signature and the number and the year it was made. And this is Aathira. It's named after her. I'll be seeing her in a couple of weeks, hopefully, and she'll come and pick it up. Anyway, I still have to lower the strings at the knot. It's just kind of a trial slots that I do just to make sure the strings are equally spaced. So I'm going to have to take it down and lower those. It's a little high off the knot. I like to make it very easy to play. And yeah, the Baggs pickup bridge is carved. I do a double radius on my 5 strings where I do a standard violin radius, and then for the C string I make it a steeper radius so it's lower and clears the G string, because a lot of the times when you're playing a 5-string violin, if you want to really lay into the G string, the C's in the way, and you have to hesitate. So I drop the C down lower so you can really dig in with the bow to the G and not hit the C string by mistake. Anyway, that's a little description of Aathira number 213. Let me just draw the bow a couple times. It's got a nice deep soulful sound and very well balanced. I'm really happy with the balance of this fiddle. It's got a lot of projection. It's powerful, loud, but it's balanced and it's sweet, especially on the high E. It doesn't have that shrill sound that some violins have. Really nice round, loud but round E on there. And the double stops are nice. It sounds like a sounds like one string. That C string just rattles my jaw. It's just really nice and powerful. It's like a cello, actually. You do the double stop with the A and E string. A lot of times with other fiddles, the E just jumps out ahead of the A, but in this fiddle, it's real balanced with the A, which is really nice. On the low strings, it sounds like a viola, and on the high strings, it sounds like a violin. She's out of tune now, but anyway, this is Aathira, number 213, 5-string. Thanks for watching.